Did you know why Gregor Johann Mendel selected pea plants as sample material for his experiments? Why did he do so? Mendel, who was considered the father of genetics, selected pea plants for his experiments for various reasons. They are bisexual and can self-pollinate themselves. They produce pure lines and also can undergo cross-pollination. They have a short lifespan, therefore possible to study several generations in a short period. Can you add any more reasons? Above all these, pea plants have several contrasting physical features, governed by specific genes, out of which 7 characteristics were considered by Gregor Johann Mendel. 1. Stem height to be tall or dwarf. 2. Pod shape to be inflated or constricted. 3. Pod color to be green or yellow. 4. Flower position to be axial or terminal. 5. Flower color to be violet or white. 6. Seed color to be yellow or green. 7. Seed shape to be round or wrinkled. Every trait is coded by a gene, represented by 2 alleles. Every organism inherited one allele of the gene from the male parent and the other allele from the female parent. Comment on the pairing of alleles to make different combinations. Based on the combination of alleles, there can be 2 conditions of a gene, namely, homozygous condition and heterozygous condition. Depict homozygous condition and heterozygous condition. Can you name the different traits for a single characteristic feature, represented by a gene? Talking about the trait, it can be dominant or recessive based on the type of alleles present in the gene. A dominant allele is one that expresses itself even in the presence of other alleles, while a recessive allele is the one that gets expressed itself only when present as a pair. A single recessive allele is suppressed by the dominant allele. As a combination, a gene can exist in 3 different conditions, namely, homozygous dominant, heterozygous dominant, and homozygous recessive. Moving further, let us know about the expression of traits, which can be a phenotypic expression or a genotypic expression. Can you cite the difference between phenotypic and genotypic expression? Phenotype is the outward expression of traits, while genotype is a pair of alleles that possesses inheritable information. Mendel worked on pea plants to produce the first hybrid through a monohybrid cross. To define a monohybrid cross, it is a cross between 2 pure line individuals who belong to homozygous genotypes for a single trait, resulting in the production of a hybrid individual of heterozygous genotype. For example, he conducted a monohybrid cross by crossing a tall pea plant with a short pea plant, with genotypes TT and TT, respectively, in the parental generation P1. He observed that all the offspring in the first generation were hybrids with genotype TT and phenotype as tall. In the second step, he allowed the offspring of the first generation to self-pollinate. 3/4 of the plants were all tall, and 1/4 were short in the second generation, which he called the F2 generation. Find the genotypic and phenotypic ratio from the Punnett square. Hence, we have seen P1 as the parental generation, F1 generation as the first filial generation, and F2 stands for the second filial generation, where F stands for filial, meaning son or daughter. Mendel, from his observations in the monohybrid cross, proposed the law of dominance, which states that hybrid offspring will only acquire the dominant trait in their phenotype. Next, the law of segregation states that, during gamete formation, the alleles of a pair segregate randomly, so that each gamete receives one or the other allele with equal probability, which ensures the purity of gametes. Moreover, during fertilization, by the random fusion of gametes, paired condition of alleles is restored. Knowing monohybrid cross, can you describe the phenomenon of dihybrid cross? Further, Mendel conducted a dihybrid cross, considering 2 different traits of a pea plant. He had chosen the parent plants, which differed by two different traits. Dihybrid cross involves the crossing of two plants that differ in two contrasting characteristics, and the genes coding for them can independently assort themselves. Here, round and yellow are dominant traits, while wrinkled and green are recessive traits. In this cross, all the F1 were round and yellow-seeded plants. When these were selfed, according to the law of segregation, during gamete formation, there occurred random segregation of alleles. During fertilization, different combinations of characters were produced, in the ratio of 9:3:3:1. This is called Mendel's dihybrid ratio. Try to analyze the results of the dihybrid cross from the ratio. Observing the results of the dihybrid cross, Mendel proposed the law of independent assortment. This law states that the segregation of a pair of alleles will occur independently of the other pair, or they will assort independently. According to the rule, the gametes must carry all possible combinations of the alleles in equal frequency. Hence, we have learned Mendel's principles of inheritance.